Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Patel, I think you know that I have great respect for the men and women of the FBI.
This exchange between Senator Amy Klobuchar and Kash Patel is one of those moments where the subtext is actually louder than the words being spoken.
Their mission, fidelity, bravery, integrity. I believe they deserve a director who respects our work and sacrifices, and they deserve a director who's focused on their mission. This is not about bingo cards or games. This is not about revenge. This is about the safety of our country and the people that work in the FBI. And the FBI runs on facts, it runs on truth. Truth matters, and without truth, the whole system breaks down. You said that Donald Trump has every right to tell the world that in 2020, 2016, and every other election in between was rigged by our government because they were. Yes or no, did you say that?
I don't have that statement in front of me. But
okay, that was from August 27th, 2023 Thrive Time show. I'll put it on the record. These claims made in that statement were rejected by courts, including by Republican judges. Is that correct?
I don't have enough of the facts in front of me to make that assessment.
I will put that statement on the record, but I think everyone in this committee, including the Republican members, knows that these statements were rejected by courts. You were asked about the police officers in the Capitol who testified in the January 6 hearings, and you accused them of lying. Is that correct or not correct?
I don't think that's accurate.
Okay, Joe Pack's podcast, March 2024, we'll put it on the record. I was there. The police officers were heroes that day.
Yes.
Did you post on your personal social media account in May of 2024, January 6th, never an insurrection, cowards in uniforms exposed. They broke the chain of command.
I believe you're referencing a post that was shown in part earlier. I don't have it in front of me.
You posted it, and it was on your account, and we will again put that out there once more as we go on. I don't want to lose any more time on this, but every one of these, there's a record of it, and you haven't answered. You promoted a COVID vaccine reversal or detox supplement. One scientist said, I quote, "None of these substances in any form would minimize side effects from a COVID-19 vaccine." That is preying on innocent people. Did you perform clinical trials before you made that claim?
I'm not a doctor, so no.
But you did promote this supplement and told people that it would reverse or mitigate the side effects from COVID vaccine.
Did I give people an opportunity to make an independent choice for what's best for their families? Yes.
You did that last year, correct?
I don't have it in front of me again, Senator.
Mr. Patel, the FBI tackles some of the most complex threats that we face: terrorists, hostile foreign powers, violent gangs, fentanyl, criminal organizations. Your mission, though, has been to go after people. I've looked at it. I've read this stuff. Yes or no? When Trump wins, did you say this? When Trump wins in 2024 and is in power in 2025, we can prosecute them, referring to Justice Department officials for an actual RICO statute violation, for criminally organizing the United States government to break the law to rig presidential elections. Did you say that, yes or no?
Again, Senator, you're reading a partial statement, so I'm unable to fully respond.
Okay, again, we'll put it on the record. X22 report podcast 20, that is from, I'll get you the date, about a year ago. One of the names on your list was Bill Barr. Chairman Grassley has called him one of the most capable cabinet officials I've ever been able to vote for. Senator Graham has said, I have nothing but total respect and admiration for the job done by William Barr as Attorney General of the United States. Is Bill Barr on your list of whatever you want to call them, been referred to as an enemies list? You've called them deep state after serving his country as the Attorney General of the United States. Is he on your list because of a personal vendetta?
Well, it's not whatever we want to call it, Senator. With all due respect, it's not an enemies list. That is a total mischaracterization.
I asked you, I actually used the words you used for the list, which was deep state, right? That's what you put at the top.
It is a glossary
against
in
the
the
Attorney
back.
General of the United States. Is it because of a personal vendetta that he's on the list? You're under oath.
I have no personal vendetta against Bill
Okay,
Barr.
he said about you, you would never be able to command the respect necessary to run the day-to-day operations of the Bureau. That was actually in writing in his book. He had virtually, about you, no experience that would qualify you to serve at the highest level of the world's preeminent law enforcement agency, and that your appointment, as noted by Senator Durbin as Deputy Director to the FBI, would happen over his dead body. Is it, yes or no, why you would put him on the list of deep state as a former Attorney General, Trump Attorney General of the United States, because he wouldn't break the law for Donald Trump? Is that why?
Absolutely not.
As you know, he repeatedly told the president in no uncertain terms that he did not see evidence of fraud that would have affected the outcome of the election. Did you say in February of 2021 that the election stuff was never my job and I stayed out of that stuff?
Again, I don't know what comment you're referring to, but I'm sure you're reading a piece of something.
You said it on Pushback on a podcast. Is it true, though, that in December of 2020, you reached out to the Trump acting Deputy Attorney General and asked him to investigate a conspiracy theory claiming that people in Italy had used military technology and satellites to remotely tamper with voting machines in the U.S. and switch votes for Trump from Trump to Biden? Is that true?
What was the date?
That was out of December of 2020.
I was Chief of Staff to the Department of Defense, so I don't believe that's accurate in any way.
That came out of testimony before Congress. I will give it to you.
Klobuchar starts by doing something very deliberate. She establishes respect for the FBI, not as an abstract concept, but as a living institution made up of real people who risk their lives. She's making it clear right out of the gate. This isn't personal, and it's not political theater. Then she draws the line in the sand. The FBI runs on facts. It runs on truth. And without truth, the whole system collapses. That framing matters, because everything that follows is built on that premise. So when she asks Kash Patel whether he claimed elections, 2020, 2016, and others, were rigged by our government, she's not fishing. She's testing credibility. And what's striking is not just what Patel says, but what he doesn't say. I don't have it in front of me. I don't have enough facts. That's a partial statement. Over and over again. But Klobuchar does what good prosecutors do. She puts it on the record. Dates, podcasts, quotes, context. And she reminds everyone watching, Republicans included, that these claims were rejected by courts, including Republican-appointed judges. This isn't opinion. This is documented reality. Then the exchange turns to January 6, and this is where the hearing really sharpens. Klobuchar brings up Patel's comments about Capitol Police officers who testified about that day, officers who defended the Capitol, officers who were beaten, crushed, and traumatized. She asks directly, did you accuse them of lying? Patel dodges. So again, record, podcast, date, quote. And then the social media post. January 6th, never an insurrection. Cowards in uniforms exposed. Let's pause on that. Calling law enforcement officers cowards in uniforms after they defended Congress from a violent mob is not just offensive. It tells you exactly how someone views power, loyalty, and accountability. Especially when that same person is seeking influence over the nation's top law enforcement agency. Klobuchar doesn't raise her voice. She doesn't insult him. She simply lets the contradiction sit there. Then comes another pivot, one that might seem unrelated at first, but actually is. Klobuchar asks about Patel promoting a so-called COVID vaccine, detox, or reversal supplement, a claim that actual scientists flatly rejected. She calls it what it is, preying on innocent people. And when Patel admits he's not a doctor and didn't conduct clinical trials, the issue becomes bigger than health misinformation. It becomes about judgment, about responsibility, about whether someone understands the weight their platform carries. Because the FBI director doesn't just enforce laws, they shape public trust in institutions. And trust, once broken, is nearly impossible to rebuild. But the most chilling moment comes when Klobuchar turns to Patel's own words about prosecuting Justice Department officials under RICO statutes once Trump returns to power. This isn't speculation. This isn't a hypothetical. This is a recorded statement about using the machinery of government to go after perceived enemies. Again, Patel refuses a straight yes or no. And then comes the so-called deep state list. Bill Barr, Trump's own attorney general, a man praised by Republicans like Chuck Grassley and Lindsey Graham, a conservative stalwart by any reasonable definition. And yet, somehow, Barr ends up labeled part of the deep state. That alone should set off alarm bells. Because when loyalty to one individual becomes more important than loyalty to the law, the institution stops functioning as a democracy and starts sliding toward something else entirely. And then Klobuchar closes the loop. She reads Bill Barr's own assessment of Kash Patel, that Patel lacked the experience, temperament, and respect necessary to run the FBI, that he would be unable to command the Bureau. This isn't coming from a Democrat. This isn't coming from a Trump critic. This is coming from Trump's own attorney general. And Patel can't talk his way around that. Here's the bigger picture, and this is the part that really matters. This hearing was not about scoring points. It was about a fundamental question that we don't ask loudly enough anymore. What kind of people should be trusted with immense power over our institutions? The FBI is not a toy. It's not a weapon for settling political grudges. It's not a loyalty test for whichever faction happens to be in charge. It's a law enforcement agency tasked with protecting a diverse, deeply divided country, often under extraordinary pressure. What Klobuchar exposed wasn't just inconsistencies or past statements. She exposed a worldview where facts are flexible, institutions are suspect, and accountability is something reserved only for opponents. And that should concern everyone, regardless of party. Because once you normalize the idea that law enforcement exists to punish enemies rather than uphold the law, you don't just weaken democracy, you hollow it out from the inside. This exchange was a reminder that words matter, records matter, and history matters. You can't shrug off past statements when you're asking to lead an institution built on credibility. You can't dismiss documented behavior as partial quotes when your own words keep resurfacing in full context. Klobuchar didn't accuse, she documented. She didn't speculate, she cited. She didn't shout, she let the facts speak. And in a political era dominated by noise, that quiet precision may have been the most powerful statement of all. If we care about the integrity of institutions like the FBI, if we care about truth, accountability, and the rule of law, then moments like this matter. Because they force us to confront a simple but uncomfortable reality. Not everyone who seeks power should be trusted with it. If you found this breakdown useful, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment below.